I've seen the greatness of the American spirit time and again. Over my lifetime, I've seen something about the great character of the American heart. I have a favorite story I've been telling across the country about a time when I served as a Boy Scout leader. I was, any Boy Scouts here? Boy Scouters? Yeah, we got a few here. Thank you, guys, and some moms who also help in that program. I was at the front of the Boy Scout Court of Honor room at the gymnasium. Boy Scout Court of Honors, where you get Eagle Scout awards or other awards. I was seated at the end of the table next to the American flag that was there on a little flagpole. And the person who was speaking at the podium was the Scoutmaster from Monument, Colorado. And he spoke, wow, there's a Coloradan right there. And he spoke about how his troop wanted to have a very special American flag. So they bought one, had gold tassels around the outside. They sent it off to be flown above the Capitol, and it was. Then when it came home, they contacted NASA and said, would you take the flag up on the space shuttle? They agreed. He said the boys were so proud looking from their classrooms and watching TV, seeing the space shuttle Challenger launch into the air, and then they saw it explode on TV. And he said, he contacted NASA and said, have you found any remnant of our flag? And they hadn't. He said it called every week for months, still nothing. And then one day he was reading an article in the paper about some of the debris from the Challenger disaster, and they mentioned something about a flag. And he called NASA, and they said, we have a presentation to make to you and your boys. So the boys and NASA came together, and they were presented with this plastic container. And he said, we opened the container, and there was our flag in perfect condition. And then he said, and that's it on the flagpole next to Mr. Romney at the end of the table. And I reached over and pulled out the flag, and it was as if electricity was running through my arm, because I thought about the men and women on that space mission, thought about the people in our space program that put themselves in harm's way, recognizing that they are promoting learning, pioneering for us. They give of themselves to others. Our men and women in uniform give and have given of themselves for us to protect our freedom, to promote our prosperity, to promote our way of life. There's so many heroes of different kinds in our society. It's part of the American experience to live for something bigger than yourself. I think we're a nation of heroes. They say that being a hero is not being bigger than life. It's being bigger than yourself. And Americans live for things bigger than themselves. I think of all the single moms who right now are scrimping and saving to make sure they have a good meal to put on the table at the end of the day for their children. My sister's in her 70s, and she has 8 children. And of her 8 children, the first 7 are all married with children of their own. The 7th was born Down syndrome. He's now 43. Lynn's in her 70s. Her husband passed away a few years ago. Lynn devotes her time in her life to the care of her son, to make sure he has as an abundant and full a life as he possibly can. She's a hero to me. I think of all the couples across America that have decided not to exchange gifts this year so they can have a little more for their kids to have a great Christmas. I think of all the dads and the moms who are working 2 jobs so they have enough money to buy the kind of clothes for their kids the other kids are wearing at school so they won't stand out. We're a nation of people with big hearts who care very deeply about things bigger than ourselves, our families, our parents, our community, our schools, our churches and synagogues, our state, our nation. It's who we are as a people. And this is a critical time for us. I know the people of Virginia have very clear eyes. You can see the consequence of this election. I know as Americans you have full hearts. There was a TV show some time ago about a fictional football team that on their way out into the gridiron, they typically were running against high odds. They'd touch a sign as they walked out the door. It said, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. And I'm convinced that we're going to come together on November 6th. You with your clear eyes and your full hearts. We cannot lose. We've got to bring back America. We've got to do what it takes to keep this nation strong, to build an economy that puts our people to work, that guarantees a bright future for our children. I love you. I thank you. We're going to win with your help.